Is the question. A Bitcoin ETF, it's now widely expected to get the green light this week. Two sources close to the process now telling me it's looking like Wednesday, which is also the deadline for Cathie Wood's ARK and 21 shares bid. Then I'm told potential trading would happen Thursday or Friday, but it has been a moving target here on dates. The SEC is expected to approve a handful of applications at once. Those sponsors filing even more paperwork this morning, where we are starting to get a sense of this price war emerging. There are 13 applications out there with David. Yeah, that is the question.
Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live on the Web3 Network. Yes, you heard it here correctly. Bitcoin ETF approval, potentially Wednesday, Biggie Poppins, sending us off to Valhalla. How are you doing today, sir? Good to see everybody in the chat too, OVOT, as we get started on this brand new week in Web3. What's going on, man?
Dude, that was like the equivalent of crypto porn right there. Like we've been waiting for that moment. You better not be edging us, Q. I'll be really pissed.
I'm not edging. CNBC's edging if they're doing it. Spot Bitcoin ETF expected to be approved Wednesday and could begin trading this week. That's by CNBC. We're going to get started here today on NFT Live. Of course, we're taking you around the NFT and Web3 industry in about an hour's time, always with you great folks there in the chat. You guys watching here afterwards are over on X. You're amazing. Every freaking week, man, you're here. You join us on Monday through Friday now that we're going 5 days a week. So excited for that. All right, adding on to this real quick, we had a tweet from Gary Gensler that made its rounds on the X platform over there. It says a thread, a motif, if you will, some things to keep in mind if you're considering investing in crypto assets. He goes along to say, of course, crypto is used for terrorist activities, and that they can be exceptionally risky, and there's fraudsters everywhere. And a lot of people thinking that this is going to kind of be a precursor here, Biggie Poppins, to that Bitcoin ETF getting approved. He's basically saying, he's kind of throwing in the towel saying, hey, we're approving it, but watch out.
And full of scammers. Yes. Only trust Fidelity and Schwab and these fucking gray-haired old fucking behemoths that have been talking shit about the thing and now want to come and sell it to you, and you won't be able to use it, but you'll be safe from the scammers. What a dick.
All right. Tell me how you really feel, Biggie Poppins. Okay, Jessica Yatrovsky, the thirst trapping queen of the kingdom in the house. Michael P, Nox Darkness, Danny Dan, DP, Cats Fanatic, Squashman. Oh my goodness, Carrie Ross, Christian Jensen, GM to all of you. Hopefully you had a great weekend. We were talking before we pressed live, Biggie, that we didn't take the weekend off. Right? Like it's not like we fully disconnected. I was over there in the SEI ecosystem. I know you were doing some things in the Ordinals ecosystem. So we're going to kind of get us updated, each other updated, I guess, on those kind of protocols and what's happening over there. And then any, obviously, topics that you guys have in chat, please throw them out. I know you guys have been sleuthing as well. Very much the flavor of Q1 and of 2024 is that this is going to be a multi-chain future. And everybody needs to be spending their time kind of looking around to see where the next opportunity is.
Dude, if it's not a multi-chain future, it's sure as shit going to be a multi-chain bull run. So,
sure.
You know, it just depends on how far off the risk curve you want to go and what you want to do, right? Like, I'm just having a hard time being a human, Q, you know, like just being a parent, being a good friend, and disconnecting, you know. Like I came up with I didn't come up with it, but like I read up on this, I don't know, it was like a blog or something, but I love the term. Have you ever heard of the term data residue? Did it ever happen to you? I'm sure it happens to some of our friends here where you're like hours on end in front of the computer thinking about prices and NFTs and whether you should farm this and stake that. And then you just have to unplug because you have to fucking eat shit and take a shower and maybe like see some people, right, that you love. And you disconnect, and then an hour and a half in, and you're still back in the computer. You're still thinking about the price, and like people talking to you, and like your wife asks you something, and it's like, yeah, whatever. Like, what was it about stacks or something? I hate it, man. But it comes with the territory, I suppose.
You know what? I hadn't heard that term used that way before, but I was looking for one because I felt that in my real life, right? You're just sitting there. You're kind of like, hey, what's going on? I'm trying to disconnect, but I really can't. I'm thinking about SEI, and I'm thinking about the price of Ethereum and all this stuff, and I'm thinking about all the things being built and what I'm missing. It's going to be a tough one, man. Every bull market, you take a leg up on the amount of people and the amount of products that are being built in the space. So as crazy as last cycle got, it does feel like we're in a different beast now. Maybe that's recency bias, but there's way more people here. There's way more things being built now than last cycle, man.
And that's what has me worried, right? Like I forget which one of these big VCs or anything was talking about, but I don't know if you've seen it around where he's like, yeah, Bitcoin, $500,000. I mean, from his mouth to God's ear, right? Like, wouldn't it be grand? Wouldn't we all want to see that? But the thing is, in this space, like you can't just dismiss things like that, especially when they come from people that are, deeply in the space. And as investors, at the same time, you don't want to drink the Kool-Aid. But I do feel like just this precursor to the bull market, because I'm not convinced we're in a bull market. I know we're in an uptrend. It's a fucking tremendous uptrend, and it feels like a bull market. But I don't feel like it's kicked off yet. And if this is a precursor, I do think that the level of euphoria, even for seasoned investors in this space, is something that they've not seen. And as sober investors that we all are, and we have our entry points and our exit points, we all know about moving goalposts every now and then. That's the part that I'm worried about, Q. So I'm like trying to set like really hard goalposts. I don't know. How about you?
It's very early, and that really soothes my anxiety about how all over the place I am. But really, at this point, when the amount of protocols are at this level right now, just trying to get my accounting in order helps me out a lot. Like that, to me, just not being all over the place and knowing where my funds are, that helps me make the next move. As far as goalposts on, when to sell or things like this, I have not said any of that. It's basically just down to research right now and trying to get into these different chains and work my way around. I'm sure it probably makes sense to have that stuff pre-bull set up, but I just don't. Right now, it's more
like
about
automatic,
research.
right? But like it's stuff that you do want to mull over and kind of like maybe have a sheet or something where you put like, hey, send me an alert, or when I hit this price target, I'm gonna commit to taking some off the table or something. I played I played a shitcoin this morning. Like I played a shitcoin on Solana this morning. I took profits. Okay, so like I'm not over here just like gigasend or nothing. Yes. Yeah.
So taking a 2x when I can and watching it run another 4, but being okay about that 2x is fine. All right, let me get to some of these comments here. So Dan's joining us after a long reprieve. Good to see you back in the comments, in the community here, Danny. Everyone is commenting on Biggie Poppin's outlets here. Jessica is saying Biggie is a good parent because he has his outlets covered in the background. DP saying, I forgot people actually have kids and spouses in this space. Hello, Jeff Jag. Marty McFly. Go ahead.
I forgot too.
Oh, it is
crazy.
Mrs. Poppins is doing her best, I'm sure, with the kids. Marty McFly saying, "Is GIF alive? I'm worried about my Nakamigos bats." GIF is alive. He is taking a interesting approach to the beginning of this cycle.
He's taking a long rest in his coffin.
He's gonna be the most, dude. He's gonna be the most refreshed, though. You know what I mean? He's gonna be fresh out of the box. We're gonna be dragging ass. He's gonna be like, "Who's ready to go?" All right, I'm gonna get to the disclaimer here in just a second, Biggie. But before we do that disclaimer and shoot off into the episode, tell me about this thumbnail. What's happening tomorrow or potentially on Wednesday? Because this is big. This is a project that we've been interested in a while. They've been kind of getting their product together. Obviously, Ordinals being something so big in terms of the entire ecosystem, connecting that to Ethereum's huge. So what's happening here with Megapont this week?
Man, if there's one conversation I've been like having in my head this whole weekend, it's been Megapont, these crazy little unicorns, and the teleburning mechanism that we will be exhibiting, unleashing upon the world soon enough. And I'm feeling some sort of way, Q. Like I think the timing is just too perfect. You know, the narratives that we're talking about all the time. Oh, are Ethereum NFTs dead? Is everything going to Ordinals and Solana and SEI? And, you know, I've been a part of this community from the very get-go. I've always said it's very distinct flavor and style of degening, but builders nonetheless, right? And this is something that has been coming for a while now, and I think it can take adoption in the STX ecosystem and Ordinals ecosystem. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of people start talking about like ordinal inscription services, right? And like we've seen like people inscribing directly, right, from different chains and stuff like that. But this is like a little bit more trying to facilitate the inscription of NFTs, which is not easy and it's not cost effective. And nobody wants to spend their BTC to inscribe on BTC, right? And so there's two main avenues that I've seen that, or at least services that have sprung up. One of them is on STX, and you'd pay with the Stacks coin, and there's another one which is Megapont, which is teleburning specifically from Ethereum to Ordinals. Although I want to ask Mark, because it could be from other chains as well, but primarily it's from Ethereum to Ordinals, and the payment is going to be in this coin. It's not a shit coin, people, even though it sounds like it, but it's called PIXE. And you're going to pay in PIXE, and you'll be able to teleburn your NFTs from Ethereum to Bitcoin. One push button, easy to do. You know, you're not going to have to do any of the other hoop jumping, which I have seen with others, like this other STX mechanism. It's a little more complicated to use. This one I think is going to be a lot simpler and smoother, and so I'm pumped for it. I'm pumped to see these unicorns go to BTC and Ordinals and see how they perform, man, because it seems like everything just catches a bit over there right now.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you're not wrong at all about that. It's interesting that Huda is saying, guys, I think it's coming back to ETH while we talk about ETH going to BTC. I think both can be true, right? Solana seems to be cooling off. I saw a report, by the way, earlier as we take a look at that Pixel token, right? This is PIXE. This is that. It's more, I wouldn't call it a meme coin, but it launched as a meme coin. So this is the 4-hour chart. If you zoom out, it launched all the way, I believe, back in the fall, if not summertime. Didn't really have that much of a use case. The way Megapont works and the community is intricately involved in this process is like they're just throwing things out at the wall to see what sticks from a tech perspective, from a narrative perspective, all these different things that they launch.
Perspective too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you have these beautiful unicorns that we will be talking about this week. If you're a friend of the channel, if you've been here, you know that we've covered this, and this collection actually minted out this weekend. So it's 3,000. They're going to be involved in this teleburn process at least somehow, correct? Like I know that it's going to be spending PIXE, but
they are the first to go through the teleburn portal. So, you know, first ones to do this. It's going to be fun. Like all the other ones, like MegaPunks, which is also from Megapont. Like those were originally minted on Ethereum and then inscribed on Ordinals using Emblem Vault, right? Yeah. This is the first time you're actually gonna. These unicorns are already inscribed on Ordinals, by the way, folks. These are just going to be teleburned from Ethereum as a proof of concept, right? Which is pretty nuts in my opinion.
All right, so this token, and I do want to get to the broader kind of space here. I haven't even really shared out the episode, so if you guys are here, you're the real ones. So I appreciate that. I know we got the original tweet out, but haven't been getting the retweets and reposts. So if you guys want to go over to our X profile at NFT Live and help out there, that would be much appreciated. I got to do that as well. But yes, PIXE token. I initially caught this pump, right? Where like I was playing this, I think at the end of the year, I caught this pump. I think I was in at like 9.8. So if you get in right now, you're actually getting in below me, and then Biggie Poppins says that's still early, baby. That's going to be a molehill to the mountain that is to come with the PIXE token. This is not financial advice.
One of the things that I can see happening, Q, here is that there's a lot of communities on ETH, like projects that have kind of stagnated, right? And they can't exactly launch another token. Maybe they already have one, or there's not a lot that they can do unless they end up diluting their current holders, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like how do you catch a little bit of a pump? How do you revitalize your project. And I think one of the ways is that if you provide an easy way for you to teleport over onto Ordinals, you might, and you have a good culture and a good narrative, you might be able to catch a pump. And on my end, I'm just happy because the BTC maxis are going to be fucking furious. I want to see a tsunami of projects and people just porting over to Ordinals, and I'm not expecting every single one to do so. All I want is for people to become cognizant of the possibility of doing so, of the ease of use of doing so.
If it can be easy, that's the thing, because the infrastructure is just not there. And that's why honestly, the friction has been so high that the profits kind of follow when you look at that kind of almost maxim in the space. The amount of friction often can lead to a lot of profits, but that infra being provided by the Megapont team would be an amazing narrative play off of.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right. So we're going to be covering again. Megapont and team are going to be here either tomorrow or Wednesday. This collection again did sell out. We are holders of this collection, and I guess I can go on. There's about 3,000, I believe, unicorns here, just minted out over the weekend. And with that, I will say we are not investment advisors. This is not investment advice. We're just two simple degens up here that just love talking about NFTs and Web3. So excited to have everybody in here. I think we hit our local high here. We got 44 of y'all here in the chat and in X and YouTube. Yeah, I'm taking a look. We got our new handy dandy restream tools that they've been working out. So appreciate you guys showing up today as we talk all things Web3. We did hit on the Gary Gensler thread. The market is reacting. I don't know who commented on this earlier. I'll make sure to bring that up. But the market is definitely reacting to the potential of that ETF approval on Wednesday. You can see here Bitcoin legging up to about 46,000. Let me refresh this. I know this is in TradingView. Don't get mad at me. 46K, 2,300 on the ETH side. But you can see there's a significant pull up here on the visual charts of the last 7 days. Some of the better performers, man, for the last week, maybe even month, have been these layer twos. Injective looks like one of the better ones of the day. Biggie, you were just talking about stacks. You were talking about SEI as well. SEI was a huge outlier in some of the pullback that happened. They basically didn't have a pullback. So we're going to touch on them as well. But like I said, a lot to cover. Market seems to be reacting. We were all kind of waiting on the potential that this would get approved, and that was a big thing because it felt like that it was going to happen, Biggie, but we didn't know. So nobody wanted to put that 100x leverage on BTC or anything like that until we knew that it was a go.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's been so long, right? Like that. I'm so tired of that narrative. I want to let go of it.
Yes,
I want it to just happen.
Good point.
But
let me pull this up too, because I think Buffalo was the one that posted this in our group chat here. Hopefully, I can. Do I see it? Yes, I got it. This was fantastic. It was like all the stacks of everything that's built in this industry is literally teetering potentially on something that Gary Gensler could flick his finger on and collapse the entire thing.
Yeah. And he wants to. He wants to, folks. He's got people there trying to steer him in the right direction, but it can still happen, And even if it does, it's not over. It's just a little bit of extra, I don't know, time to pack your bags, I suppose. And I know some people are kind of hoping for that a little bit. I would just like to get to a point where it's like, okay, next narrative, right? ETF.
Yeah,
ETF is going to be the next one, though. So
that is going to be the next thing that you guys have to hear about for 3 months. But maybe because we have that precedent, it can go by a little bit faster. Rocky R, good to see you. Been a while. Fwens. I like you saying that type of Fwens. Fwens. All right. Kerry Ross saying easy. That doesn't seem to be the norm in crypto. Unicorns. Yes, we do. Quantum is saying, did you get into Ittybits ETH-scriptions? I haven't done any ETH-scriptions, man. The fact that now I have to come back around while I'm out on the periphery of these layer twos and other chains.
And pay these exorbitant gas fees, you're just going to not like it, right?
And Mr. Whale's doing his best here. He's bumping our numbers up. I count for 2 people. So that's pretty cool. Jeff Jack saying, tell me why inscriptions are dumb and or cool. I don't know if we can do that unless I haven't jumped in. Maybe Quantum Variant can jump in here in the chat and explain a little bit of that. I'm sure we could. We've seen enough inscriptions on Bitcoin where we can kind of lay out that narrative. But
I'd love it
needed. I thought it was needed on Bitcoin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, does this platform let you like take phone calls, like open up the phone lines, kind of like a radio show? That would be fun.
Eventually. Like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something like that?
Yeah. It's like, all right, the phone lines are open. Call in with your takes. I don't know. In a not too distant future, hopefully that exists. It would be fun to do.
We put a man on the moon, but we can't get a phone feature on Restream.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. No, I don't think we have that feature, but we'll be waiting that one out. All right, I've got a couple things that we can pull on here. One, I guess both of these have to do with Crypto Slam, but let me pull up the Lucky Trader post here. Huda is in the building, so we can bring this up and feel great about it. Yeah, shout out to my research analyst over there, data analyst over there at cryptoslam.io. Also, Slam Vision, TBD. It's coming out soon. Web3 is multi-chain. In the last 24 hours, 7 different blockchains are represented among the top 15 traded NFT collections, according to CryptoSlam. This was nice to see for the Polygon folks, especially. Gas Hero, a project that I'm not saying we faded Polygon. I feel like we've been in that ecosystem for a while. GIF like to talk about a lot of the projects. Avagachi, of course. Shout out to the Gachi gang, always on top of mind. But it looks like their Gas Hero is taking an actual top spot here over there on Polygon. But yes,
I am surprised people are sleeping on Polygon still, like just dismissing it, right? Like it just screwed up majorly, and it's not doing anything. I think this is one that's gonna pop out of left field and surprise everybody, especially because there are a lot of projects that have been building there and with strong communities. And I understand that the tech at the moment is not preferable, but like we say in the show, friction is a friend of profits. And while everybody's zigging on to the ZKs and the optimisms and all that, I'm not saying I'm going heavy into it, but whatever Matic I have, I'm being vigilant about what I want to go into. I looked at this Gas Hero as soon as it started popping off, but you know what my issue was, Q, and something that I've learned from you and GIF here a lot is the chasm of complexity is big. Like there's
Gas Hero?
Yeah, from a gaming perspective and everything. I was like, oh my god, like it's cool. I don't know. I'm not gonna commit to such a vast ecosystem that easily. I already got my Gachi gang, and that was my commitment from last cycle, so I'm playing that. But okay. I think there's cool stuff coming.
All right, let's see. Inside NFT. So Huda's saying 1 week. So I'll pull it out to 1 week over here on Crypto Slam as well.
Oh, 1 week for the quick Slam Vision. I think that's. What
okay.
Referring to. I hopped on this Saturday with him and Henry the Great. I had a fucking awesome time. Great conversation. It was supposed to be laid back, but we ended up like going heavy into the different protocols and degenning as we do. But it was a good time. I look forward to doing it again, Huda.
Yeah, good people over there. Also in the Idiots Discord, that's popping off as well. All right, this is the 7-day look. You can see Bitcoin taking the top spot there. We mentioned multiple times that there's a feature, though, within these BRC20s that makes the volume kind of compound a little bit and look a little bit bigger than it is. But still, I mean, Bitcoin Ordinals absolutely popping off. They're still going off. I love the take, by the way, of a lot of people in the space saying, hey, there's no blur farming. There's no tinsor farming over on Bitcoin. So it's strictly kind of in that collection mindset. Less you have to deal with the farmers that really kind of, I wouldn't say they a lot of times are the ones like dumping the price, although that could be the case. It's more kind of like holding price, right? Like they really manipulate that price and sometimes leave it kind of flat, even though the volume is there. Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, Avalanche, Mythos is a chain that I'm not too familiar with. Arbitrum, Immutable X, Binance Chain, and on down the list. Here's one that I'm going to hold Huda to the fire here a little bit, even though he's not on the show today. I'm sure he'll be on NFT Live tomorrow. Fraganas, okay? So Fraganas is the top 5 chain, or top 5 project here in NFTs. I will go over here to the Fraganas price, and I asked Huda, I said, hey, look, man, what's the price here that you're willing to pull the trigger on some Fraganas, as they were sitting at like 12 or 14 Sol. They're at 8.3 Sol. So you're talking about zigging while everybody's zagging. Everyone's getting out of Fraganas right now. 8.3, Biggie. This was one of the more popular NFTs on Solana. Are you pulling the trigger?
No. And you know which ones also went down a little? The NodeMonkes. I know. Sacrilege, like from 0.38 to 0.2. You know, if you thought you were going straight shot into 1 BTC, you'd be mistaken, my friends. It takes a little more than 2 weeks and a ton of hype. But I'm still bullish on the Monkeys. Not too sure about the Fraganas. You know what project I am bullish on with Solana, and I'm still hunting for allow lists and stuff. I've managed to snag 2 so far, but I'm a big fan of it. Is the crypto undeads? I think are going to perform really well.
Heard a lot about the crypto undeads over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So you weren't off. You did not take your time off. You got some crypto undeads.
I'll tell you what it was. You know, degen that I am. Like I finally released myself from this chamber of fucking digital prison, and I go down and I start watching. What was it? Princess Mononoke with my daughter and my aunt, and we're just having a good time. And then I just, from the corner of my eye, I see my phone just flash. And I'm telling you, Q, it was God himself sending me that message, because it was a particular person with a particular name. And when I saw that, I was like, hold on a second.
So go up. It was Beanie Maxi at Beanie.
Fuck Beanie. No, not Beanie. But yeah, man, like it's part of the space, right? Like you try to have like, you know, everybody, when I speak to them, like, how are you like organizing yourself, right? And I'm hoping somebody comes up with like this new calendar, whatever tool or way of thinking about it. It's like time blocks, right? Like everybody's been like, oh, time blocks, you know, like this is the time I do my content and this is the time I consume, and I only check email during this time. You can't do that in this space. You know? Yeah. It's like, how the hell do you keep up with it without having to?
There's an element of luck to it as well, isn't there? Isn't there? Like I'll give you another personal anecdote, that your situation with the ringing phone and being right next to it. This just randomly popped up on my timeline as I was putting together the show today. Base. So this is from the profile here, the main profile for Base, that layer 2, obviously on Optimism, or building with Optimism. OnChainDinos is a collection of pixelated dinos. So I got this as I was building the episode. I was like, what's going on here? It's mint.fun. And it was like at 1,500 out of 2,000, Biggie. It was like a $5 mint. We'll see what actually happens with these. But I was actually able to mint 5 of these OnChainDinos.
Didn't some dinos come out not too long ago? Were they also on Base, or are they the same ones? There were some dinos that looked exactly like this.
There's not enough. There's not enough happening on Base, and I'll say this with an open mind, because I do expect Base to be a major player in 24. There's not enough happening right now that I think there were 2 dino projects on Base.
Okay, but I have seen these dinos before. I remember like Jordan Lyle saying like, "Oh, we like the dinos," and I think they were minting them because they would get like a layer 0 airdrop or something. I'm not sure. I think GIF even minted some. I imagine it's not on that chain, but now I'm gonna have to go look at them, because that's another eco that I have yet to. I need to do Say, and I need to do Blast. I mean not Blast. Base. Those are the 2 that I need to like bridge over something and just play around, farm something. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing out on those folks.
I might be overthinking this, so stop, Biggie. Please stop me.
I'll let you know
think
where
I'm going
you
down.
are in the curve. Don't worry.
Because I see a lot of pixelated projects, and to me, the pixelated projects are the easiest ones to pull off. And they're this merger of saying, "Hey, now it used to be you either do an NFT or you do a token. Now we're at this point of maturity in the space where you can do both. But the people that are going to launch a token aren't necessarily art inclined, so they launch a pixelated collection." And so that I just see so many pixelated collections. I'm like, why?
I guess I understand why you say it's the easiest to do, especially when you show me those dinos. But like, there's like good pixelated art,
Yes,
and then there's whatever, right? Like, there's Moonbird pixelated art, there's the Megaponts, there's Crypto Undead, like really good pixelated art, and then there's this, which is kind of almost like having a laugh, right? I get it. When it comes to the art collecting part, I've been having a lot of discussions with people about that, right? Because it seems like all of a sudden everybody's feathers got ruffled when their bags aren't the ones pumping. And it really shines a light as to, were you an art collector before crypto, or are you an art collector now? Because then, and is it more of, making a bag, or are you really like, do you go to museums? Do you have wall up in your art? Do you like to read and follow a particular artist? I don't think a lot of people do, and I think it's important to understand like where you stand in that space, right? Because you don't have to be like a fine art collector. You can be a collector of culture, of sneakers, of other memorabilia, and that's fine, and you can make money off of that. People have been doing it with regular stamps for ages, right? And old coins, and that's fine. Just understand like what it is you're collecting and what your personal profile is like, because if not, then I do see too many people, like you said, like just throwing shit up on the wall and calling it art or like something worthy to be collected. It's like, no, this is degen play. Come on now.
So so Elena's saying, don't you think people outside the space are laughing at us with this art?
Of course, but let them, right? Like, I mean, people laughed at Picasso when he first came up with his deconstructed muses, right? Like people, I don't know. I think I'm all about having a good laugh and not taking it personally. What is it like having two opposing thoughts at the same time? Like that's the quality of like a mature mind. Like, what I don't like is when people just, what like Dave Chappelle says, like they call you crazy and are dismissive about it, right?
Yeah.
But to me, that's a signal. That's like, oh, there's something here, or at least let me check and see if I can understand it better than calling it crazy or laughing at it, right? I met a couple of people that are from the traditional art world that were in Marfa last year, and they were still kind of not convinced. But it led to like really interesting conversation, and they obviously understand the art world very well. But you also need to understand that very much like we're going through a revolution in finance, and that's what crypto is meant to bring about. Personally, as somebody that does enjoy art and does come from a fine arts education, like I like to think that we are also in a revolution of art, and we are redefining the rules of what art and is worthy of being collected. Because honestly, I'm not fond of the current traditional art world. It's pompous, it's shitty, it's rigged, I think there's a space to have intelligent conversation about art. If you're well informed and your art history, it's like, for sure, like, let's talk about the digital canvas, let's talk about like the different token standards. For sure, there are people way more qualified than me, the Roger Dickermans of the world, that can really dive deep into that, and I am all about that conversation. But I'm also not about to let the Jerry Salts of the world come into this space and start telling me what is and isn't culture, because I think that's the key thing that crypto has unleashed, is the ability to collect digital or internet culture. You weren't able to do that before, right? Even when Pepe first appeared, you couldn't collect Pepe, but we all agreed it was part of the culture, right? And we made Pepe to what it is today. And thanks to crypto, now you can actually collect that culture, right? And so I don't care what Jerry Saltz has to say about that, in my opinion.
If somebody cares enough to criticize you as well, that means you're kind of on the right track. And I love what BT is saying. People really hate it when you have your own thing going on, So I completely agree with that. People on the outside, if they perceive it as a threat to what they're doing, they're going to criticize it. So I'm all on board with that. We saw that in the financial space, and they've capitulated. The Bitcoin ETF is a little bit of a capitulation. The way that they're talking about it now, in the finance sector is full capitulation, in my opinion. So XNFT is saying, when we put 5 to 6 figure valuations on a squiggly line, we deserve to be laughed at, but it's okay. I mean, look, you can point to a lot of things in traditional art that is weird to be valued at what it's valued at. The banana on the wall has always stood out to me. Like, I don't know if that's mid curving it, but the banana on the wall shouldn't be valued at whatever it was valued at, but it is. That's an example I would look at.
The opposite as well, right? Like, it's a tale as old as time. The only difference now is that I think you have a better weighing mechanism because you vote with your crypto, which has value, into what is worthy to be collected. Whereas before, say, if you were collecting, again, Picasso or Renoir, what have you, you were constrained to a certain geographic location and a moment in time, and it really didn't travel further than that, right? Whereas now you can launch something like Squiggles and they can become a worldwide phenomenon like that. That's powerful. Yeah, you didn't have access to that before. And yes, you're hedging your bets, right, of whether or not this will be, the banner for Web3. I think they are. I personally think they are. And yeah, that's why I think they are worth 5-6 figure valuations.
Tell me how you feel, Biggie. Let's go.
But, man, I mean, it's a tale as old as time. I think, if you don't need to be an expert in art history to see how many times people look at photography, look at, moving images in cinema, look at the transition between film and digital. There's always going to be purists out there that resist change. And you need to just, I think, dig in a little deeper and find out where those insecurities come, because that's what they are usually. There's really no foundational argument to go against it. To me, that just poo-pooing it and laughing about it and is not enough to dissuade me. I need a real logical, and it doesn't even have to be logical. I guess it could be just a little curve.
This is why
a real argument.
This is why I love the community, though, because a lot of times they're saying what I'm thinking, and Fisker is saying, "Get passionate, Biggie," and that's exactly what I was going to say. Give me that quote, man. And I appreciate those takes. Every week it seems like there's somebody who is fudding this industry in a way that, if you understand the tech and you understand the trajectory of where we're going, doesn't make a lot of sense. But they don't take time to kind of understand it, which is.
But I welcome them with open arms, and I appreciate them because you just add to the narrative. We need a villain. And if that's you out there, please, I love you. Keep it coming. You're wrong, but keep it coming.
All right, we've got a couple other things to cover here. While I'm on Magic Eden, just covering different chains, and primarily we looked at Ferganas and a couple other Solana projects. Bitcoin has obviously been doing some interesting things. That's an understatement.
I love these fucking things.
Dude, Bitcoin Puppets has been running since we were on the show. Yeah. So if I go to the activity over here, you can see 0.022. Come on, Matt. Don't do this to me, Magic Eden. don't do this to me.
Come on, we're rooting for you.
You can see here, this is about 1 p.m., about the time that we started, 0.2, so not that much. But you can see even from about noon today, which was about 2 hours ago, they've jumped up in the price action. I have been seeing these across my timeline, potentially the Bitcoin puppets here making a little bit of a run, Biggie.
Mm-hmm.
So,
dude, I dig these a lot. Like, if I had to choose,
it's unique for sure.
A favorite ordinal.
Speaking of great art,
I love it because it's in your face, right? I like, this is exactly the stuff that I would like put in front of Jerry Saltz and be like, tell me how this is enough.
It passes the wall test. I would put this on my fucking wall. As much as you guys don't think I would put a Bitcoin puppet on my wall. This shit is hilarious.
And it's on purpose, right? And I think it's made with that lighthearted like take, and if you know that the creator has been around Bitcoin for a long time, like, it has a community behind it. Shout out, who was it? Was it Dalton? I even forget what his
Dayton.
Dayton, which is DP over here, right? That brought it up to us. I don't know, man. I'm very curious to see how they perform, for example, versus NodeMonkes, which are also awesome, and I'm bullish on. And of course, the pixelated art.
I know.
And the people that have bought into it is really great and amazing. but I want, I feel like, man, that I don't know, like long term, if you had to ask me, like, no money invested on my end, but just like which one's gonna win, and I don't know, man. Like I think like the puppets potentially have more staying power because they already had like a huge community narrative and leader behind it, whereas here there's still quite a bit of ambiguity, albeit great art and tons of hype.
Okay.
I don't know. It'll be cool to see.
I'm excited to dive into the Ordinals. I told myself, over the past week that I would be setting. I mean, this is a long time coming. We had Mark on the channel literally almost 12 months ago at this point, talking about Ordinals for the first time. One of the biggest fades of my entire existence over there is not getting into Ordinals when he was bringing them up. But let's hop out of it. We'll talk to him, of course, tomorrow as well. Biggie, the last question I have, and I just like open to the public, is like, what's the last popular PFE that didn't have a background trait? Because I just jumping into NodeMonkes, you're like, there's no background. Like, have you ever seen a popular PFE without a background trait?
That's the last thing I focus on, to be honest. Q, I didn't even stand out to me. So I don't know, brother. I don't know what the last collection would be like. I will say, like, how do you feel about them? I mean, I think the art is pretty dope, man. It does really stand out. I will give them that. No, not too much. Hey, it's fair, man.
It's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me. But
that's fair. That is fair.
I do like the puppets. I enjoy the puppets. It looks like that floor continues to run as we bring
and it's
them
provocative,
up
right? Like when it comes
it
to
is.
like, yeah, gets the people going.
VX Kongs would be one of the examples I would use. I don't know if you're talking about pixelated pieces there. Or you're talking about no backgrounds. Okay. Interesting.
Quantum bringing up punks don't have backgrounds either.
Nice.
That's true.
There you go. All right. Well, we appreciate that. I love being schooled up here. Honestly, I get myself up in the morning. I'm like, how am I going to be schooled on NFT Live today? Who's gonna make me look like an idiot on NFT Live here today? No, I appreciate those comments. Punks do not have backgrounds. I would love to see that.
Wow, Willie Stimboy, Willie is still.
Yeah. So I want to jump into Say here. I want to jump into base. We got about 20 minutes left in the episode, but yeah, taking a look quickly at Ethereum and the NFT scene over there. Steamboat Willie, it seems, is the winner. So this is interestingly not from the Truth Labs. I believe I'm saying that right. It might be True or Truth Labs. Steamboat Willie 0.26 floor price seems to be the winner. 7-day change of 400%. San Fran Tokyo is one that has come up multiple times here on the show throughout. I think they've had a couple different mints within that ecosystem. 1.13 doing extremely well. So they look like they had it going on. We just never really dove in heavily.
You know what's going to be interesting, Q? Once we have that locked capital from Blast and Manta.
Oh, yeah.
Unleash upon this space at some point in it's this quarter, right? At least Manta is
February. Sure. It's mid-Feb.
Even Eigenlayer. What are those people gonna do with that? Right? Like everybody has this theory that yes, Blast will probably open up a new casino for you so that your liquidity just never leaves Hotel California, right? But I got to think that a substantial amount of people in there are also eyeing the farming and some of these NFTs popping off, and they're like, man, I can't wait to get my hands on that liquidity again so that I can go shopping.
So for those of y'all that are uninitiated with Blast, more than 1 billion locked up, I would like to get the updated number there. Pac-Man, who built Blur, obviously a huge player in both the marketplace and the lending in the NFT scene over there, at least on Ethereum. They now have their own native NFT or layer 2 here, Blast. What happens in February when all of this gets unleashed is exactly the question Biggie's asking. I know Gifted was saying, Pac-Man's going to figure out some way to keep people in the platform. There's no way he's going to come out in February. This would be wild if they came out with an announcement saying, "Hey, look, we're pushing the unlock date back."
Oh my God.
Like that would not be good. I'm not saying it can't happen. Obviously, crazier things have happened in the industry, but he could think up a cool gamified way. Hey, double the tokens if you leave it in or something like that. Like there's all these things that can happen. Sorry, my dog's starting to get all ramped up as we talk about Blast. But what are your thoughts?
Something I didn't know. Apparently, there's like blur farming controversy. I haven't read up on it. I don't think I don't think he's gonna just come out with an empty protocol, right? And I think that was hinted at from the get-go that there were already going to be apps and things built up on there. So I feel pretty sure that there's going to be plays to be made within Blast. But I also think some amount is also going to be rotated into something else, whether it's another protocol for farming or NFTs. My suspicion though is that, I mean, we're not going to see the levels of NFT mints or NFT trading that we've been grown accustomed to during the bear until way later after the bull. There's just too much opportunity to lock up your liquidity on something like NFTs, unless you're absolutely like a fan or want to have access to part of the community. So my personal thought there is that people that are waiting for these unlocks to come and pump their bags or buy their JPEGs are going to be disappointed, when they do unlock.
Yeah, you're not. I think the easy mid-curve plays say, "Oh, there's $1 billion getting unlocked." Of course, that flows into all of these NFTs, and I think you're right. It's not going to do what we expect it to do in that case. So I think it's still a great poll question, still a great kind of just poll to throw out there. Is what's going to happen on this base or Blast unlocked? That's going to be super interesting. I almost want to get the date. I think I want to get that to y'all before we end the episode. Hey, there's no way Nouns can be at 7 ETH, right? Or now it's at 7.5.
Lapping me? Really? No way.
I mean, it shows on the chart that it's above. There were like
check Broken Sea just to double check.
That's good.
I think go to Broken Sea. Okay. Huda, man, I did not know Huda's coming in here with a take saying that apparently Blur has heavy wash trading and manipulation. That'd be nuts. Especially because a lot of people are doing that for the Blast rewards, right? But I don't know. At the same time, I think Pac-Man's pretty savvy. Pac-Man and team is pretty savvy. I mean, we saw what happened with Machi, right? Like he was expecting a way bigger airdrop than he received. I wonder if these people are going to be disappointed as well when it comes time. Either way, though,
I almost feel like, Biggie, that it's a conversation that should be had in like a whole episode. Like you could dedicate a whole episode to what to expect with Blast. I don't think the high level take is enough with the amount of liquidity in there and what might happen. We've seen some NFTs actually start to say they're going to launch on Blast, I believe. I don't know the names. I know they came out and said like, hey, there's going to be a white list and we're going to be the first to launch on Blast. It feels like we need to pull this up.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been pretty idle. Surprisingly, I have been able to maintain myself within my bounds of like not, aping into open editions and whatever I was doing last year, right? Like I've been pretty good about it. And as this time has passed, and like I've let the FOMO wash over me. I've come to the conclusion that like the things that I'm looking to be involved with again, and as you know, I'm not a flipper, I'm not a short-term trader, I'm horrible at it. I'll take some punts here or there and I'll have a win here and there, but in general I much prefer longer term horizons. And for that, like one of the things that I'm looking at, even with ordinals, right, like this whole NodeMonkes versus say the puppets debate, I apply it the same with these protocols and these tokens. It's like, which of these uphold the values that I came into this space with, right? Like decentralization being like a big component of it, especially when I'm looking at ZK rollups at the moment. You have Manta have ZK Sync Era and Mantis and all these other things. I want to see alignment, right? Like, I think those are the ones that are going to have the better shot at surviving. And don't get me wrong, I'll play some short-term plays. You know, I don't give a crap about decentralization. All I want is fast transaction times and a slick interface. It's like, no worries. But like, I put them in a very different category than, say, something that's, I think, closer aligned to what Bitcoin and Ethereum are to me, right? So, for example, in the ZK rollup arena, that's Scroll to me.
Yeah.
And if you look into it clearly, like they are like this with the Ethereum foundation from day one.
Yeah, let's
proof of work. So fully decentralized and censorship resistant. So little qualities like that is what I'm looking for when it comes to the protocols. And it's not too different from the JPEGs, right? It's like JPEGs, I want to see a community, I want to see a leader, I want to see like I don't know.
It's incredible. I brought this up last week, and it's incredibly hard to go and chase the new flashy thing and really make a profit. Mm-hmm. You have to be like right on the pulse or extremely lucky. The other part of this is being like doing exactly what you're talking about with Scroll, which is another chain that's launching here within ZK, within that ecosystem. And there's not a lot of interest. Like, there's interest, don't get me wrong, but there's not like Solana FOMO. There's not this large FOMO, and you have to wait it out. You have to, the fundamentals have to.
Crazy incentives like lock up your ETH and we're going to airdrop. So it's like, come try our testnet, try our tokens. But if you go in a little closer, you'll see, oh, wow, like a whole bunch of the Ethereum Foundation like team works hand in hand with them. Like, you couldn't put that that team together, even if you were backed by millions from VCs. Like, you really have to. These people are not incentivized by money. They're incentivized by a lot. They're not like us, degens, like 100%. You know, like they're a little bit different.
But that's the play. They're
grassroots. They're intentionally like. I dig that. It's Megapont is in a way similar. And the Stacks ecosystem has been similar in that regard. It's like, I don't care about how early the Ordinals. You know, we've been here when everybody was ridiculing Stacks, and when everybody's been ridiculing smart contracts and layer 2s on Bitcoin. It's like, they're just building. They're just building and attracting the people that want to come over. That's interesting to me. You know,
well,
and
that's
again,
the type of play that 3 months from now, people are going to be like, well, these guys were just lucky, or these guys, like, how did they know about Solana before? How, like, why were they here? It's like, well, it took a long time. Like, in crypto time, 3-4 months is a full year. And you have to wait that out. So a lot of that's going to happen on things like the SEI Network too.
Right? Like, because Solana, like, for all its, I don't want to call them faults, but for all its FUD and everything, what happened with FTX was almost like a blessing in disguise for them, right? Because it flushed out all of FTX's holding, and I think there's still a big unlock coming, right? Like, you know, same with Ethereum, with Celsius, but you know, now you're really getting into a point where all the tokens are distributed. Whoever's holding there is because they're a believer, right? And the people that held through all that FUD and all that drama are being rewarded at the moment, and rightfully so. I think it adds to the narrative, right? Mm-hmm. Cockroaches. You want the cockroaches. In real life, you don't, but in crypto, you want to look for those.
We have to break out that specific statement there, because I think there's something there. The cockroaches often make a good profit in this space. The ones that can survive, or I don't know. We need to break that thought out though, because I like it. This is really cool. We're finishing up that blast discussion. I do want to have this whole combo later in the week though. Time to reach first 1 billion TVL of popular blockchains. 35 days it took Blast. Solana looks like broke that in 40, and then you can see it took Ethereum a whopping year and some change, like almost 2 years to reach that level. Obviously, that's very much about the time that it launched and all these stuff. Like, the amount of liquidity in this space wasn't as big as it is now when Ethereum launched. But anyways, that's a really cool stat there from Coin98 Analytics. Biggie, I do want to move on here to SEI and Base and a couple of these others that we've been looking at and actually getting our hands on, because we've been talking some about what we haven't been in. Which is some of the Ordinal stuff. some of these other pieces. The NFT Stats is saying, it looks like he's confirming that there's now auctions as low as 6.6 ETH for nouns.
Wow, man.
That is unbelievable. I think even 3-4 months ago, there were like 23, 30 ETH auctions.
Yeah. And it was people gaming, right? That whole fork that was going to occur.
I think that's what's happened. It's the multiple forks.
Mm-hmm. But isn't it crazy that like they're at this level and we're still kind of like aghast at like how low they've gone? But the one thing I can tell you, Q, is that like those are cockroaches. I know nouns are cockroaches. Yeah, it's like fork them 1,000 times. Like the core, those guys are cockroaches. Those are like I've spoken to some of them. They are here for the right reasons. Yes, obviously keep finances in mind, but they're gonna be here next cycle. I'm pretty sure it would have to be something way more cataclysmic than what's going on right now for it to really fizzle out into nothing,
Yeah, I don't know what that treasury also is, but just from a brass tacks point of view, like they had one of the largest treasuries. It's certainly not as big now, but they still definitely got a large one. Although I thought they kept it in ETH. So I know that they're not going to be able to obviously bring in as much if they're selling auctions at 6 now, but their treasury was in ETH. So, or at least a portion of it. I don't know. Anyways, moving on here. This is pretty good. This is some really cool news. Shrapnel is one of my better plays that I've made here in Q4 of 2023, and is going to be one of my more convicted plays. What's the word here? My higher conviction plays is going to be Shrapnel here on the Web3 gaming narrative side. So they are launching a map release here on Fortnite. So we saw this with OniForce. We saw this with a couple other Web3 projects where they're able to kind of use that third-party builder to build out a Fortnite world that people can jump into. That's certainly something Fortnite is really pushing, is this like, hey, community, you come and build within our ecosystem. And it looks like Shrapnel's getting that treatment as well. So that would be really cool to check out. Before we jump into base and say, because I do want to finish out with that, I don't know much about TinFun.
Me neither.
But they raised, I believe, $25 million. We can jump into the website. It looks like there was some interesting just kind of animations as you join the website. Let's see. I don't think we're going to get much out of this. So 0.1 ETH. Looks like the price was the TinFun NFTs. Whitelist public sale lottery.
It ended.
Yeah, it looks like it ended. So they were able to raise.
What price is that?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up next. I don't know if you have that.
25 milli. It's a nice little seed round.
It is with no VCs. Amazing. That's the power of this space. TinFun. I don't even see it trading on secondary yet. I don't know if anybody could find that.
That Fanatic says 55 million, sir. Lord.
Oh, so they raised 25 million or 25,000 ETH.
Yeah. Who says JPEGs are dead? Huh?
XNFT is saying I tried on 10 wallets and didn't hit on any. Marty, I promise I won't share any of the people picks. Those are getting very close to NSFW here on YouTube, so I don't think I even can. Cats Fanatic, do you guys think an ETH PFP anime meta is coming? 25,000 ETH submitted for public. Yeah, TinFun. There you go. Could be a sign, right? Zokio feeling bullish too in that meta with Mint coming in a couple weeks. That's almost too broad of a question. Is there an anime meta? I think there already kind of was. I think we already saw that with it was the Azuki Elementals and Ether Avatars, I believe. There's like 3 anime projects launching at once back there in 2023. I mean, yes. I don't know.
All I say is, like, don't be surprised if there's 1,000 more, you know? I don't think, like, Westerners understand just how, you know, abundant the hunger and need for anime styled artwork and narratives are. in Asia. It's tremendous, man.
25,000 ETH for TinFun here.
Jesus, dude.
Along with this, I mean, look, I think is there going to be an anime meta? I agree with you, Biggie. Like, anime is going to be intricately tied in with the NFT space. It's just that there's already a growing and has been kind of a growing community there in China, in Korea, in Japan, in Singapore. Like, Asia has adopted crypto more than we have in a lot of ways. So the fact that there's going to be a lot of anime projects is not surprising to me, and I think that will continue. So I guess if that answers your question, but how to play it is a whole nother deal. It looks like some people were trying to get in the whitelist lottery and didn't get there. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough one to follow. All right, Biggie, let's jump into SEI and what you've been doing over here on Bitcoin Ordinals here. Sure. And base. I already brought up the OnChainDinos. I can bring up some other pieces, but let's jump into SEI real quick, because that was one that our group was heavily just really excited about.
Out, man. I was just watching you motherfuckers farm and degen into all kinds of fun stuff. It's like, I have my wallet. I don't know what I entered it for, some shitcoin or some other project, but man, this is one I feel like the majority of the people that I've seen that have been in the space for a while did not see coming, which is bullish to me. So, yeah, I want to jump into that ecosystem and check it out.
Yeah, so I'm going to quickly go through a couple things that I think are relevant, and then you guys drop any questions you have on SEI. Myself and a few others have been really just trying to get on the periphery and get in front of this new ecosystem. I will say, Biggie, on the timing, I don't think you missed much, because what I think happened, and I actually had some Dune Analytics as well here that kind of showed off this. Do I not have it? Might be able to find it again. Maybe not while we're live. Let's see. But anyways, Cool Times here is a great follow. So I'll drop that link here in chat for y'all to check him out. He hosts a space that's even live now. It's recorded, so you can go back and listen to this after. But airdrop farming, lending, borrowing, weekend updates. You can see that one of the notable NFT collections, WeBump, is in here. Dragon Swap is about to launch here very soon. The infra plays are ones that I'm super interested in a new protocol. I mean, in any new protocol that I'm trying to get involved in, it's always looking at what's the biggest DEX, what's the biggest lender, what are those plays that actually have a product that I can potentially kind of benefit from or try to get involved in. So WeBump, Dragon Swap are two big projects that are actually in his spaces. So I would follow Cool Times for sure. Pallet Exchange is going to be the biggest NFT marketplace. We showed you this. It's funny because we showed you guys this last week and there were like 5 projects on this. So we were early, as the old mantra goes. And now you can see there's about 16. A lot of this is, I wouldn't call it nonsense, but it's still, I think the ecosystem's still trying to figure itself out. Biggie, I purchased a SEI over here at 600 SEI. So far as like getting involved, I mean, you're still,
now's the time.
You kind of missed, you kind of missed a little bit of that.
Buying the top situation.
Yeah, it was a local top. It really was. Like, we were getting a little bit involved. I still think it was a good time because of just getting in front of the ecosystem from an airdrop perspective, from figuring it out.
That's the part where I feel the most FOMO on, right? Like, because we know like these airdrops are becoming, and rightfully so, right? Like, more selective about who they airdrop things to. And so, and again, in that regard, I think you want to show early adopter credentials, which is like owning, like people that own a SEI on from a certain date onwards, to people that are staking or have bridged over from a certain time onwards. And that's where I'm like, dude, every day I miss out, like, it's the possibility of being cut off. And you've seen those posts, right, Q, where it's like, I could have gotten 50K but I was a day late, dollar short, and it's like, so gotta start moving on that front, because I do think, I mean,
I'll help you out there too. I'm looking for the specific Dune dashboard for folks.
You know what I'm saying? Like some of these protocols have these narratives where they come out swinging, and then afterwards it's like like crickets. You know, it's like, oh, okay, like it fizzled out. I think it's very apparent that it's gonna be here for a while. And again, I love that the minute people I don't know, the minute they came out into the view of everybody, like there were NFTs, there's different protocols, like as it should be, right? But people have really embraced it, and so yeah.
Let's give an analytical approach to this as well, Biggie. So, Flipside Crypto, I believe 0x Hess is the person you want to follow for this. So, I'm giving him a shout out as well. I'll also drop that into the chat for y'all. This is a great look at some of the different collections. So, let's look at. Let's check out, for example, let's go Saiyans. Okay, so Saiyan, I've got 2 Saiyans. Saiyan's obviously one of the bigger collections there. You can see the number of sales have consistently dipped here as we've gone into January, right? Number of buyers and sellers has dipped. Some of that has to do with other products being launched. I do think we're in a relatively, like, if you look at the chart probably a year from now, we are on that local top kind of dropping down, and then we'll see a huge amount of interest, if you can kind of follow my thesis there. Let's look at WeBump as another one. This is probably the second biggest collection. You can see way earlier in December there were a lot of sales, and then now the daily you're not getting as much, although there were 14 sales yesterday. That tells you kind of the scale of what we're dealing with over here on a new protocol. Say Swaps gives you an activity on the protocol, kind of look at activity. You can see that blow off the top. No, I say blow off the top. I mean, like, from an activity standpoint, you can see that there was a volume top that we kind of ran into, right, Biggie? That's around where we were covering it. So that's where we're at here. And then the last thing I'll do is provide you guys some alpha here, alpha at least, on maybe what you should be looking at. I've looked at some protocols. Let me make sure I've got this correct. All right, the ones you want to be looking at, and again, this is not financial advice, but on SEI, if you're looking at a potential airdrop, if you're trying to get involved in the ecosystem, Pallet is what I just showed you. It's an exchange. If they're going to do an airdrop, you might want to buy an NFT or sell an NFT. I've done both. There's Kryptonite, which does lending. It actually does liquid staking. So I could bring that up, Biggie, in a very much Lido type of way. So you know how Lido, you can kind of stake your ETH, get back staked ETH. I can show you this. They do that here with SEI. So you burn SEI, you get the it stakes SEI basically as the token. And then within their platform, you can actually stake SEI with like something like SEI, and you don't have to. You could just use the liquid staking feature, but if you want to go a step further, you can. The token associated with this ecosystem is actually Sailor, one that across the industry, at least across the SEI kind of community, has definitely been the name that a lot of people like Beanie have thrown out. So the token's been all over the place. I could try to pull it in here for you guys. So 7 days on Sailor here. If I zoom out to a month, everything that this is what SEI looks like. This is what the whole damn ecosystem looks like. But yeah, Sailor's one that I would check out. That would be the Kryptonite token here. And that's, again, I'm giving you both tokens I'm interested in, but also airdrops that could potentially happen in the future. And then, I'm not going to spend the rest of the time here on the different platforms, but I do have the names here. So Yaka Finance, Kawa Finance, SEI names. So the .SEI. Yeah. You should probably do that. Tatami, Astroport.
Jesus,
and then
killing me now. You know what? One thing I will say that I think adds an extra.
Finch is also in chat, Biggie. He's saying GM love the SEI coverage. Happy to get some of the SEI team on to talk to. Would love that, man.
That would be awesome, man. I'd love that. Yeah, the fact that it's Asia centric, just that to me, I think is very bullish.
Korea, yep.
almost adds like a layer of protection against whatever doldrums the Western world decides to put the rest of crypto in. And so some, projects like Say that are embraced by the East are very intriguing to me, because I think they're not going to be hindered by anything we do over here.
Love it. No, I love that take. That's a good narrative. I wasn't even thinking about that, but from a security standpoint, yes,
that's the strongest narrative, dude. Q, one of these days when you head over there, you just need to walk into a casino and understand. You will find a new appreciation for the word degen. I think they look at us over here and they're like
what the heck?
They're playing marbles. Like, what the fuck?
All right. So wrapping up this convo on Say here, I'll bring up the token itself of the protocol. Also, Mike, we appreciate you kind of coming through. We'll get in contact, obviously, and see if we could have one of the Say team on.
Yes.
But yes, Astroport is the main DEX over there. You definitely want to potentially transact on that platform. You could also do a couple different things over there. I think they, if I'm not mistaken, have their own pools you can get involved in. You could literally do this with one Say, right? Like $1. You can interact with the platform and then potentially get added to some of these airdrops. Again, it's heavily speculative. And then there's also a staking feature within the Compass wallet. So Compass wallet is the one that I would go with. It's been it's Phantom-esque when it comes to like it being native. I guess Phantom offers a lot more now, but when Solana first launched, Phantom was the wallet you wanted to be with on Solana. Same thing with Compass now. So you could actually stake within Compass wallet. If Compass wallet ever does anything, maybe you get some of that. Dragon Swap is upcoming. A couple other things, man. Any questions, Biggie Poppins? I took you kind of around the Say ecosystem.
Dude, I'm just looking at my tabs, and I got my Compass wallet. I need to fund it today, and then just start playing, man. That's what it's all about.
Yep, I agree with you, man. I think it's almost.
It's too perfect.
It's tough because it is. Look, if it plays out, it's fucking perfect. The problem is
you have the parallelization, the Solana killer, the Asian narrative. There's too much to go around there,
DP is saying, speaking of Beanie, I see he's really been working hard to either become one of the good guys or rock us to sleep before he gets back to his BS. I'm not comfortable with how much I've been agreeing with some of his tweets lately. Look, DP, I'm uncomfortable with how much I've been agreeing with you lately. How about that? No, I'm just kidding, dude. I actually agree with that take a lot. I feel like Beanie is far enough away from all the bullshit that he pulled where people are kind of forgetting, and I do think you're onto something there. Cool Cows was a free mint, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know DP was in this mint. This was a free mint that literally launched an hour ago or closed up shop an hour ago. They're at 10 Say now, so about $10. Not that, obviously that's not a ton. The NFTs are a crapshoot right now. I've already told you that I'm down on Saiyan. I think WeBump is probably the best call, Biggie. I know Saiyans are seen as kind of the provenance. You need to have a Saiyan on Say Chain and all that stuff. But WeBump actually has a product. I think they have a launch pad. Cool Cows actually worked with WeBump to launch their NFT collection. So need to look a little bit more into that. But yeah, I think this is the top collection. I don't even care about the floor price. I'm just saying from a sentiment perspective on what they're building.
Okay. Yeah, I love the launchpad narratives, especially on these chains that are picking up. They're a fantastic way to just print,
Yeah, no, it's 100%. You're getting whitelist to potential other mints, all of that stuff. Finch guy saying team is running with Saiyans as the lingering type of community. Maybe that helps Saiyans grabbing one today. Yeah, I mean, that's so what he's saying there is basically the Link team leaned into the community essentially creating the Marines aspect, right? They were like, oh, we're the Link Marines. Like this is us. This is who we are. This is the culture that we're building. That was earlier in like 2017, 18 timeframe, but they were able to build culture and a meme factory off these Marines, essentially. So that really ties into a narrative that brings the community together. And it looks like SEI is doing the same thing now with Saiyans. So that's why you see Saiyans everywhere. That's why you see the Saiyan token, all of that stuff. All right, here's the SEI token, by the way. It dipped a little bit here. I mean, zooming out, you can see what an incredible month it's had. 23 cents all the way up to a top of about 90 cents. Didn't dip as hard in this pullback that we saw, and now is on its way back up above 70 cents now. I mean, that's fantastic from Saiyan's perspective. So this is the top. This is the bonk of the ecosystem, if you will, guys.
Oh, okay.
Same situation, although a heavier pullback for the meme coin. So started. Yeah, I mean, its all-time low happened in the last 17. It's up 7x from its all-time low here over that time. So if that gives you any indication.
Love it, man.
There's the SEI for you. We will have a little bit more conversation here on anything. Biggie, do you want to have that conversation about stacks and what you're doing?
I'd rather wait for Mark and to see what happens between now and then, because it's really picking up. All I can say is, like, yeah, I've been getting more and more bullish on stacks. Obviously, heavy bag bias on my end. So, you know, it's not gospel or anything or a secret. But one of the things that I did do over the weekend is, like, I went into my wallets and started visiting the discords and the projects of other projects that I had gotten involved with earlier in stacks. And it was very gratifying to see that, like, a substantial amount of them have been building and, you know, again, survived fucking cockroaches. So I'm stoked, man. I'm really stoked, because I think, you know, I'm not saying the Ordinals meta is going to be over or anything like that, right? But at some point, I think we're going to see that transition where it's like, okay, we understand Ordinals, but what about these L2s? And when that happens, I think stacks is going to be one of those that is going to be right there in front. So yeah. By the way, did you see GIF is trolling us from his coffin on Telegram?
I see that. He's got his phone in the coffin, unfortunately. Here's the stacks token, by the way, up 12% on the day, but I mean, just fantastic run here. I mean, it hasn't gone up that much in the last.
No, I mean, what was the previous all-time high? It's nothing, peanuts.
Yeah, it's about 50% off its former all-time high. If we zoom out just a tad. So yeah, it's been around for
I think we'll be blowing past that pretty soon. We just we need that teleburn mechanism, Mark, and the ETF.
Don't fade the unicorns, baby.
Yeah, man.
All right, Gifted is trolling us from the grave here, from his coffin. Doggy style here, Doogie style. Exactly a year ago, we kicked off a revolution with Feetpix. This is coming from the Feetpix team. Oh my god. A collection of pixelated feed pictures. Later this month, we'll be launching Doogie Style, who's horny for a free mint. That does look like my dog when he wants some.
That's hilarious.
I'm actually pissed we're ending the episode this way. I thought we were on a roll, and now we're talking about freaking Doogie Style.
Honestly, like, I'm, you know, within my little what do you call it, allocation that I have for DGen plays, I'm bullish for meme tokens this coming bull run. Q, I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, how would I say it? Like, we've seen some people, right, like write up some more serious takes on meme coins, right? Like, I don't think they'll ever stop being meme coins, but I have this suspicion that there's a handful, Doge maybe, and Shiba, of course, like the obvious ones, right? Bonk maybe, that will prove out to be more than, you know what I mean? Like that they'll be either use this payment, say for X, or you know, some form of integration into some ecosystem that provides functionality that will make them kind of cross that chasm from meme coin to not so fucking funny anymore actual coin now. Do you think we'll see that in this bull run? Like,
yes,
there's a big, and one does it, I can, you know what happens next, right? It's the speculation about which one's the next.
You could make the argument that they've already done it, right? Doge has been implemented as payments and kind of crossed that chasm. I would say Bonk was doing it, but it was heavily dumped in this last. Not saying that a 70% dump like completely kills the narrative, but it makes you think twice about why this was being pumped so heavily when something can retract that much in such a short amount of time. So I'm going to take a look here at the Bonk token.
It's a dangerous world. They remain like a very specific sector, right? With very, shitcoin characteristics in the charts and everything else. But like you said, when you look at the argument from a market cap perspective, right? Like Dogecoin has been a serious contender for a very long time. But that's what I mean, right? Like it is still a meme coin. It is still, you can call it a shitcoin, what have you. Like, what needs to happen for it to absolutely change that? Where you're like, it started off as this, but now it isn't. Like, is it institutional people buying it, like Raul Pal? I don't know if it's that case, right?
I mean, shit, maybe. Look, it seems to even catch on to the general public. Like, whenever you think about a bull run and what your aunt is asking you to buy, some of it is Doge and some of it is Shiba. And it's weird that those are the ones that catch on. Who knows? It's all in my mind, it's XRP, Doge, and Shiba. That's the rank of ants crypto purchases when they ask you about what should I buy. And so you sit there and ask yourself, well, why does this meme coin capture the attention of people outside the space? And a lot of it just has to do with how quickly it can run up.
Well, the lotto ticket results that they hear about, right? Like, obviously everybody wants that, but I want to say there's like something more to it. It's just that, right? But some of these serious papers that have come out, right? Like talking about cultural shifts and what is money. You I don't know, you get really philosophical in the weeds there sometimes. And again, we know that bell curve, right? Like, you don't want to be smack down in the middle. I think it's really as simple as a fuck you, right? Like to the like if Bitcoin and Ethereum are a fuck to you, to the traditional like financial system, I think like meme coins are a fuck you to the traditional investors within crypto, right? It's like, we don't want a VC backed, we want just a shot in the dark, made a few people rich and then got adopted and turned into something kind of narrative. But I think that's the hunger that some people, idealistic people, might have within the space, right? Where it's like, let's just really stick it to everybody. Like everybody, even the people that have been here since day one, right? It's like, it's going to be this shitcoin that we're going to shove down your throat and make you accept as legal tender or something.
I love the mid-curve chart that XNFT is throwing out here too, because I agree with this take. Whenever you see that mid-curving it meme or what have you, like, it's always like somebody right in the middle trying to explain it in some logical fashion. And XNFT is saying it's the zeros in front of the price. Yeah. Normies think it will go to $1 and think they will have once Bonk goes to $1, I'll have 1 billion of these. Yeah, exactly. You're just like, it's that stuff that makes you shake your head. But at the same time, look, I take a lot of the approach of the Satoshi method now, which is, if you don't understand it, I'm not going to sit here and explain to you and waste my time. Like, I'll embrace you and I'll explain this once, but if I got to do it 2 or 3 times about why that's ridiculous, I'm just like, do what you do, man. Just buy your Shiba. Hopefully it hits $1. All right, we're going to end the episode here a little bit short of that hour 30 mark. I mean, it's definitely, we're having longer episodes. Maybe it's just based on kind of feeling that hype for the bull market and what's happening. Of course, we did start the show by showing off that CNBC clip that said Bitcoin ETF approved on Wednesday, potential trading on Thursday. So hopefully that's the case. It seems to be the market's reacting to that. NFTs seem to be doing okay. I am wondering about this flow back to Ethereum that Huda was mentioning. Solana seems to be kind of capping off a little bit of its hype, but they definitely had a great end to the year. We'll see where it goes in 2024, though, man. All right, we got to get out of here. You guys have been fantastic all the way through, per usual. If you're on YouTube live or afterwards, You guys are fantastic. Numbers growing on that side. X, as we are now going to go in live and able to see commenters over there on X. I want to give a big shout out to Finch over there who's commenting on that side. But yeah, everybody that takes in the content and finds it helpful or enjoyable or entertaining, you guys are why we do this, man. So excited to be on to the next episode tomorrow. We do have Mark later this week. We have Huda coming in. We're going to get gifted out of his coffin. We got to take a couple of these hammers and just kind of
rip
drag
him out
his
of
nail out.
His squiggle plated coffin. Yeah, we miss our beloved Ken doll, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Okay, our vibe, our tribe, folks. I'm gonna let Biggie Poppins take us out of here, but this has been another fantastic episode of NFT Live. Leave a like if you appreciate him, if you appreciate myself, just the network in general. It helps us get the word out to more folks. You guys have been awesome all the way through. Biggie.
Man, I love this community. I look forward to the show all the time. It's so awesome to be on this ride together. And then, man, at this juncture, like so early and already having these euphoric vibes, I look forward to the rest of the year. It's going to be wild, fam. So I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy.